Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well today. Hope everything's going your way, man, and you're in a good mood. But if something happens that it hasn't been going your way today and the day started off bad, man, I want you to hit stop, pause this video a second. We're going to change the channel just like you would if a song was playing on the radio you didn't like. We're going to start this day over and think about a few ways you're blessed, man, things that you're thankful for. And if you do that just for a few minutes, it's impossible to think about those things and not feel happy and to look at things in a different way, to have a better outlook on life. And perception is everything. So if you'll do that, your day will go better, and then you can start the video again. And my name is Ricky Dye. If this is the first time you've ever clicked on one of my videos, I went to prison when I was 15, and I did 20 years flat, medium and maximum security. And I'm trying to use the things that I went through to maybe save some other kid from doing that, man. Hopefully they'll watch these videos and hear about some of these things I went through, and hopefully they won't want to do that. And maybe we can touch base, man, and maybe I can get to know you, and maybe you can get to know me through the comments and through these videos. Because when you hit subscribe, you are choosing to watch my videos. You're taking time out of your life to listen to what I have to say. And in return, I will never bullshit you, man. What you see is what you get with me. No secret. Anybody who knows me, there's no surprises. They can pretty much guess what I do before it happens. So everything will be real. I've never sat and made a video and then remade it. Whatever I say, however it comes out, that's what it is. It's just me sitting here talking to you. It's raw. There's no editing, and I'm not reading anything. Just me talking to you. And I want to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It'll really help me out a lot if you'll hit subscribe. If you don't really want to watch them all the time, turn off the notifications, but if you'll hit subscribe, it really would help me out. But the main thing I want to ask you to do is share them on your social media platforms. What I'm out to do with these videos is to reach someone, to save a kid, to help a parent touch that kid in some way, stop a school shooting, stop a robbery, stop someone throwing away their life or killing themselves. That's what these videos are all about. And before I go any further, I want to thank Christine Hoffman. Shout out to Christine Hoffman, man. She sent me $50 on Cash App out of nowhere, said it was for the videos. And I want to say I really appreciate that. For me, talking about money on here is a real touchy subject. I never want to say anything that will lead you to think I'm doing this for money. And at some point, I want to start a football channel for fantasy football. Or maybe about books that I've read, or reading, for reading and stuff, for Lord of the Rings, something like that I really enjoy. And then it will be, I'll be doing a service, and hopefully people will support the channel and help me out. But that's not what these videos are about, man. These videos will never be behind a pay window. They'll always be free. And you're doing me a favor by sharing them, by subscribing to my channel. And that's all I ever ask from you. But it would be wrong of me, I feel, not to say that I appreciate things. The appreciation for the things that have been done for me. I felt called to do these videos. For me, these videos are a debt. I've done something wrong, and this is me trying to repay it. This is something I just want to pass on. This isn't something I'm trying to get paid for. But when I started off to do these videos, I felt called to do it. But I really didn't have a way to do it. I was using a Go phone, and I had a pair of earbuds, but the first 5 videos, why you can't hardly hear them. And so I got a hold of some mics from help from my dad, and I accidentally got them for an iPhone. So I was having to run back and forth and borrow my mom's phone. And a guy at Ford sent me $10 on Cash App out of nowhere when I was trying to figure out where I was going to get the gas to run back and forth to make a video. So it paid for the gas. And then when I said that I was using my mom's iPhone, someone gave me a new iPhone, an iPhone 10. And all I had was a Go phone. I couldn't afford anything else. So then I had the phone, and I've had 2 different people give me stands. I was propping the phone up on a rock. I have to find somewhere in a tree I could set it. The guy gave me this octopus stand, and I can wrap it around trees when the weather's nice and I can go outside. I prefer to do them outside. It's just been cool and windy, so I've had to do them in here. Then I needed lighting, and Ricky Gilbert sent me $50 on Cash App, and I used it to get all my lights and another stand. And then the other day, man, I stayed up half the night. I was up trying to figure out where I was going to get $20 or $30 to take care of something the next day. And I woke up, and Christine Hoffman had sent me $50 on Cash App. So I have to say I appreciate those things. Wayne and Angie Lackey for the phone. Amanda Nita and Mark Madden for the stand, and Ricky Gilbert for that money, and Christine Hoffman and Ford. Thank you guys, man. Thank you for helping me. But I'm not after anyone's money. It's not what I'm doing. Please do never think that of me, because that's not why I'm here. If you'll hit subscribe, that's what I ask. But even more than that, just share the videos. Help me reach someone. Now, this video, if you've been keeping up with my other videos, I'm in lockup at Lexington, and I'm headed to McAllister. But there are some things in my stories, because I don't read this. It's just me talking to you. And I've never made a video and say, oh, I messed up and made it again. Whatever I make, that's what it is. But because of that, even though I'll sometimes make myself little notes to remember what to talk about, I still skip over things and forget things. So I wanted to use this video to plug some holes and finish some things I started and never really finished. But the reason I'm not going straight into McAllister, if you watched the last video, man, it kind of started getting to me emotionally. I've been thinking a lot about McAllister because of it. And like I told you, in my nightmares, where I always am is in McAllister. It's a terrible, terrible place. And it changed me. And we are going to get into every bit of it, man. And in the next couple videos, I'll start that. And they're going to be hard for me, emotional for me. And the reason I'm not doing it this time, for one, to plug some holes in my story, catch up on some things I skipped. But for another reason, man, last night was the first night I really had a good night's sleep. For a few nights in a row before that, thinking about this video with McAllister and what I was going to say, I've been having terrible nightmares. And I'm not saying that to get you to feel sorry for me. It's part of what you'll go through if you do something wrong. If you commit a crime, if you do what I did, if you go shoot a school or commit a crime, or it'll be something that you have to face maybe. I believe the Lord is going to deliver me from them at some point. And all those things that was given to me, the things to help me make these videos when I felt called to do them, even though I didn't have a way, the money to help me get everything lined out when I needed it, I didn't know where all that would come from. And maybe it wasn't from God. I'm just saying, if it wasn't, it sure was a lot of coincidences. So, hey, man, I feel really blessed. I'm happy, and thank you guys for helping. But, you know, these videos, man, I'm just the spark. But you guys have to be the flame. You have to be the one to spread it and share it. It's all on you. I could talk till I'm blue in the face. It doesn't do any good if no one sees it. The right kid has to see it. And so, right quick, I want to say this to the parents out there, the people watching. If you have a kid, child, nothing you ever do in your life is going to be more important than raising that child. Nothing. Not your job, not your bills, not your car, not your truck. Nothing you do in your life will ever be more important. Not your relationship with your spouse. Nothing is more important than you raising your child. And let me tell you something. Kids who are happy and have a good relationship with their parents, they don't rob stores and shoot schools, man. They don't cut themselves. They don't try to kill themselves. They grow up and they go to college and they do well and they have a good life. You know, it's not on my mother what I did, because I fooled everyone. I fooled the people at school. I fooled my friends, my teachers, my mom, my grandmother. I fooled everyone. All my life, I've been real good at that. And I was too smart for my own good, and so I've paid for it. But hopefully, if you're smart and you think you're too smart for your own good, maybe you'll listen to me, and maybe, man, you won't do what I did. Because I pray that you don't, man. Because it was terrible. And I'm still facing things from it. But parents, if you have a kid, they say you can't be a friend and a parent, but that's not true, man. My mom's my best friend. And without her, I wouldn't have made it. But I also know she's my mother, and also respect her as my mother. But she is and always will be my best friend too, along with my wife. So touch base with your kids, because kids that have real good relationships, that are happy, that have good relationship with their parents, they don't go break the law. So you keep that in mind, please. And I never got through all the stuff about write-ups and misconducts. So I wanted to run through that. There are 3 kinds of misconducts in prison. There are X's. They stay on you for a minimum of 2 years. You get those for battery on staff, battery on an inmate, having a phone, a weapon, trying to get drugs into prison, anything that has to do with a female staff or any kind of staff member that you're coming on to. Any kind of real bad write-up, that's a Class X. And it'll put you on level 1 for 2 years. You can't ask for a level or anything for 2 years if you get a Class X write-up. They can also take a year of good time from you, put you in lockup for 30 days, You can be shipped. You lose your canteen privileges. You can't get level 2 for 2 years, so you've lost your canteen privileges for 2 years. You've also lost your visitations, except for through a window for the next 2 years. You also lose the ability to call out on the phone for the next 2 years, other than to a lawyer or clergy. Class A write-up, you can lose 180 days good time, which is half a year. 30 days DU, you lose your level for a year. After a year, you can get your level back. You lose all those privileges until you do. Because until you get level 2, you can't draw down more than $5 in canteen. For a Class B write-up, you can do up to 15 days in jail, lose up to 90 days good time, but you can get your level back in 60 days. So when you get a write-up, what happens is if you get caught fighting, something like that that's on the spot, or if they suspect you sneaking in drugs, then they can take you and put you in lockup for investigation. And they can keep you there for 14 working days before they have to bring you a misconduct. Once they bring you a misconduct and you sign for your misconduct, then they have 3 working days to take you to court. Then you'll go in and you'll go to court for your write-up, just like you would on the streets if you broke the law. You'll go in and sit down and a man will read you your rights. And if you can't understand things, they'll appoint someone to help you understand it, make sure your rights aren't violated. And then you can give your side of the story. Anytime a write-up is done, there's an incident report filed by the officer who writes the write-up up. That's their version of the story, just like the DA would do a DA's narrative, which is their version of what happened during the crime. You can tell your side. You can call any witnesses you may have. And then you'll step out and he'll decide whether you're guilty or innocent. And then he'll impose your infractions, which are things I mentioned, the DU, good time, etc. So it's just like when you break the law out on the streets. Okay, and then from there you'll go and do your DU time. And at the end of your DU time, if they don't feel you're a risk, they'll put you back on the yard. But if they don't, if they feel you're a risk, if you got in a fight or something, or you're sneaking in drugs, then they'll break it all up by shipping you somewhere else. Where you live, what you want has nothing to do with where you get shipped. You go where they put you. Same as if they put you in a cell. Now, if you're white and they try to put you in a cell with a black man, you have a choice. What you're supposed to do is refuse to go in the cell and go to lockup. Or you can try to fight him and take the cell. But you're supposed to have enough respect as a convict to not try to fight the man. He was there first. He's black and you're white. You have to refuse to cell with him. So you got to go to lockup or refuse to come out of lockup. If you are white and you live in a cell and they try to put a black guy in with you and he doesn't refuse and go to lockup and he decides he's going to go in that cell anyway, then you have to fight him for it. And that's all there is to that. You can't live with a black guy if you're white. And if you do, then the whites will try to get you, rob you, take your stuff everywhere you go. And blacks, they don't do each other that way, but the whites do, unfortunately. I wanted to also see that's lockup. And lockup, once you go to lockup, you get 30 days lockup. But if you get in trouble while you're down there, they can stack your time. When you're in lockup, you're locked down 24 hours a day. But Monday through Friday, if they have enough staff for 1 hour for exercise, they'll take you and they'll handcuff you and shackle you up and then walk you out to the exercise, which is just a little, looks like a dog kennel. And it's caged in, usually walled up, and only place you can see the sky is straight up above you. And that's what DU is usually like. That's Monday through Friday, only if they have enough staff. And usually they say they don't. So you usually might get to go outside 2 or 3 times a week if you want to. But when you go outside, that's when you're out of your cell and lock up, that's when they'll go in there and tear your cell up. And sometimes you can collect extra towel, or you may have a couple extra books in there, something you don't want them to take. So people refuse to go to the yard to protect the stuff in their cell, because if you stay in there, they usually won't lock you up, shake you down if there's not a reason to. When they get ready to come to your cell, you're locked in a cell. There's a bean hole where they slide your tray in and out. So what you do when they get ready to come and get you is you'll squat down and you turn around with your back to the door and you scoot down and you put your hands through the door behind you and they'll handcuff you. And your cell partner, if you have one, has to be at the other end of the cell facing the wall. Then you'll move away from the door and stand with your face to the wall while he backs up, squats down, and gets handcuffed. And then after that's done, then they'll open the door, shackle you up, and take you to yard. Only you and your cell partner can do yard together if you have a cell partner. Showers 3 times a week, 5 to 10 minutes to turn the water off. If you're not done, you'll just have soap all over you. Uh, you get to order 2 books a week while you're in lockup from the library. You just tell them what kind of books. You usually can't get any specific one. Just, I like mystery, I like this, I like that. If you have a cell partner that doesn't like to read, or usually someone else in DU that doesn't like to read, you can ask them to order books. And a lot of times the guards will let you bring them around for you, switch cells, let you change books. They'll bring you something to eat 3 times a day and put it in there, and you'll eat it or you'll be hungry. And that's all there is to it. It's usually not very good, but you have to eat it. And if you get in trouble, you throw your tray out there, you holler and cuss at the guard, you get put on what's called the loaf. And what the loaf is you get put on the loaf for 3 days. And what they do is they'll make roll out some dough, and whatever you had on your tray, they dump in the middle of it. Jello, chili mac, piece of cornbread, whatever it is. They roll it up in the dough and put it in the oven and bake it. And when it turns brown, that's your meal. You get the loaf. It's still, you're being tortured. You're not going to be able to hardly eat it. I thought when they had pancakes, syrup, and applesauce, I thought I'd be able to eat that one. But the applesauce made it bad, man. I couldn't even eat that one. I just had to be hungry for a few days. So they got somewhere for you, man. The harder you are, the more rules you want to break, the harder it gets, man. And that's all there is to it. You go out here, you break the law, you steal something, you shoot school, you go in there, things get a little harder. Then you got to lock up, and they get even harder. And the more you do, the worse it gets. And that's all there is to it. So if you want to eat the loaf, want to spend, a lot of time in DU by yourself, and hey, man, just tear it up, man. They got somewhere for you. And when you get locked up and you get in trouble, then they add time onto you, 20 more days, 30 more days. And I'm going to tell you about a time once I was locked in DU for 264 days. It was so long they had to come around every 30 days and make sure I hadn't lost my mind. And I nearly did. But I'll tell you how my mama saved me that time. So this video's running along. In the next one, we will be in McAllister. I'll give you my word. We're headed there. I'll tell you about the bus ride, the last night in lockup, headed there, and me and a guy praying all night. And yeah, it was bad, man. So I promise, nightmares or no, next videos we will be in McAllister. And I hope this fills in the places I've missed. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I've answered every comment so far. And may God bless and keep you and your family. Remember to change the channel when you have a bad day. And always remember, pick up your blessings, not your curses. May God bless, keep you and yours. Peace out.